Hello everyone, this is Ingrid Gorman, presenting assignment 9.1 for class data 620, winter of 2018, Professor Carrie Beam, UMUC. We are using Tableau to create forecasts, utilizing data we have chosen, then creating storybooks and videos to present our findings. I chose to use data sets that reflect the economic conditions of Youngstown, Ohio. This is the city where I grew up. I saw what happened to the city when the steel mills closed down, and I had to leave to move to Washington, D.C. because there were no jobs to be found in 1985. So I'm really interested in data sets related to this city. First, what I wanted to do was pull unemployment rates and compare the city of Youngstown to the nation overall. The nation overall is depicted here in blue, and Youngstown is in red. First of all, I want to say it was really difficult to get historical unemployment rates, and that I had to call the Bureau of Labor Statistics to get some unofficial rates for Youngstown. And then I calculated some on my own relative to what Ohio State was doing, but past a certain date, I wasn't comfortable estimating any of the unemployment rates for Ohio, especially during the boom when the steel mills were in full production. First, you can notice that the unemployment rates for Youngstown are consistently higher than the U.S. overall. And then you can see when the steel mills started to close down en masse, the unemployment rate was over 16%. This was the highest in the country, even over Flint, Michigan. And also, during the Great Recession, unemployment rates for Ohio were much larger than the U.S. overall. Next, in this graph, I took the unemployment rates for Youngstown and created a trend line. I tried a linear trend line, and it pointed to the unemployment rates going down. So I experimented with polynomial to reflect the fact that unemployment rates are going up in Youngstown, Ohio, even while the rest of the country continues to go down. So you'll see that the polynomial does predict an upward swing now. And at the top, I have the population. So along with higher than average unemployment rates, we can see a steady population decline from the 1960s up until current. Next, keeping the population line up in green and adding the birth rates and death rates, we calculate those by taking the births and deaths and dividing into the current population. These are all expressed for Mahoning County, by the way, which is where Youngstown is situated. I wanted to make sure that we didn't have an analysis that pointed to declines in populations in the Youngstown city proper when they were just moving to the suburbs for various reasons. So that's why it reflects the county here. So as you can see, Tableau forecasts a decline in population from over 300,000 in the 1960s to close to 200,000 by the time we're at 2035. The death rates are going up, also as forecasted by Tableau. And in pink, we have the birth rates, which are declining. And those are forecasted as continuing to decline by Tableau. Next, we just break out the birth rate trend line to more easily see what's happening. Tableau says that by 2036, the birth rate is going to be 0.8. It used to be 2.2. Back in 1960. Lastly, I wanted to compare the rates of incarceration in Ohio to the percent of people who are classified as poor. These statistics do seem to correlate, but I think before we can say for sure that they really do, we would need to look at the U.S. as a whole to see what is happening on the national level in terms of the percent of people who are classified as poor and the incarceration rates, which we know are going up all over the country. I do not have much faith in the forecasts in this particular chart, like I did with the population forecasts in the previous ones that Tableau is creating here, because it suggests that the incarceration rate will decline given the past data points. But I don't think that that is reasonable unless we have policy changes and sentences that are commuted. More or less, I would assume a steady state. And conversely, with the percent who are considered poor, I would consider that to fluctuate as the history has shown. And lastly, here are the references that I used to collect all the data. Thank you very much.